So the majority of the people were not responsible for the crisis?
No, I really think that there's like an attempt to culpabilize, like to say that everybody is like guilty in this stuff. But no, I think really that it's the economic and political elites that have led us into this, that are really responsible for the political and economic decisions that have made to this country.
All right. Jung Naiv, we left Greece and we're now in Spain. We're in beautiful Madrid and we're sitting in front of this thing called Spanish Parliament. And who's my first guest?
My name is Hector Medeiro, and I'm a 24-year-old student of political science, and I'm part of the Podemos movement. Okay.
How's Spain doing?
Spain is doing really hard. The social majority in this country is struggling just to live with more or less resources, even more every day, and I mean it's not like Greece. I mean, you've been like in Greece lately, but I mean people is doing really hard here. You know?
Why?
Because the economic crisis, the costs of economic crisis it's not it's not like no se está repartiendo. It's not. I mean, the cost of economic crisis is pending in the shoulders of the social majority and not in the elites and not in the persons that have led us into it. So.
So the majority of the people were not responsible for the crisis?
No, I really think that there's like an attempt to culpabilize, like to say that everybody is like guilty in this stuff. But no, I think really that it's the economic and political elites that have led us into this, that are really responsible for the political and economic decisions that have made to this country. I mean.
Yeah. Why is there a crisis? What kind of crisis is this?
I mean, it's an economic crisis, but it has also like social consequences. It has consequences related to, more everyday, more precarious condition for the popular classes. I mean, it's the privatizations, the attempts to privatize and the public health programs, and the education. It's an attempt to empower the social majority, so that the rich people that have led into this maintain like their income rates.
Sounds like a bit like Greece, where they've been cutting on like the healthcare system and the education system. So is it like a similar crisis where, like, is it part of the financial crisis? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, like the factors that relate between debt crisis and financial credit crisis. I mean, I'm not an economist, but of course this our elites want to lead us to the Greece problem, like to the Greece. They want to. It's like a similar way. Yeah, of course it's very similar. Maybe in Greece has like even worse consequences, but I think it's the same way in which we're carried.
Is it this thing called austerity that it's being implemented here?
Okay, that's the thing. Like this austerity politics that maybe it looks like our elites have chosen, but it's more like at least like how we people see it. It's a political system, a political policies. Economic policies that we haven't decided. I mean, we haven't taken part of that decision.
But you voted those politicians in, right?
Yeah, I mean, but the relation between electing some parties. I mean, you have to watch also the abstention, the no participation in election. It's like really high rates and
non-voters.
Yeah, non-voters. There are many non-voters that haven't decided. I mean, and even though people in the last election maybe voted more for Partido Popular or more for Partido Socialista. It really,
Who are these parties? Like Social Democrats, Conservatives, what else?
of course, yeah. Partido Popular y Partido Socialista compose like the bipartisanship of of our political system. It's like the left and the right in this
They
country.
work together.
Actually, there's we always think of what happened in a few summers away, where Partido Popular and Partido Socialista got together to decide that we were going to put in our constitution this thing called the La Regla de Oro. I mean the thing that we're going to pay first the ones that have Spanish debt, then the social necessities of the population, and that is like the symbol of Partido Popular and Partido Socialista being almost the same party. Yeah.
Why? What kind of system is that?
Well, it's a system in which you like have to decide in between you want Coke or you want Pepsi, but you can have
It's still soda.
yeah, it's still soda. I mean, you can choose between those two ways of drinking cola Coke, but actually it's the same or maybe like a little difference, but actually for us for us and for the population, more and more it's being the same thing.
So there must have been like good times for Spain, right? Like when did this crisis start?
Well, this crisis starts in Spain. It's like a cross of maybe two crises, but the one more important is the one called La Burbuja Inmobiliaria. I mean the crisis of
Real estate.
real estate. In this country, the elites they were
Who are the elites? The parties? The two parties you're
well,
talking
the
about?
parties and also the economic elites that
Rich
they have
people.
rich people that have managed the banks in this country that have financed a model of growing that was a model of growing like a little bit insane based on the on how do you say like inflating the house prices. The construction houses and the construction work, that was the base model that our elites have chosen for this country, and it's a model like that have real bad consequences for the social majority when it explodes, because it's based on fiction. It's based on the prices of houses growing until somebody can't pay, and everything goes to shit. You know.
So people they were building houses and houses and houses for years and years and years, and then suddenly there was a financial crisis, and suddenly there was no money for it to pay.
There was no money, and that and the how do you say the el paro, the disemployment raises because because most of the population went to work in that determined that concrete sector, that the construction sector, because the political elites managed to say to people, this is our way of growing, this is our thing, you know, like come to work here, but when it explodes, everyone goes to disemployment, and you know, like the social consequence, the social bad consequence comes to the thing.
But doesn't like a responsible government have to know that at some point growth will stop?
Of course,
or I
but-
mean, there can't be more houses than people. I mean, at some point there has to be a glass ceiling. Didn't they
course.
know that?
Yeah, I think they knew that, but there's a thing, a corruption case here. It's like a major corruption case called El Caso Bárcenas, because Bárcenas is like the treasurer, the financial
financial minister.
Yeah, no, not the financial minister, the treasurer of the Partido Popular.
Oh, yeah.
That
Treasurer of the party.
yeah, and then he filtered some papers, and we knew then that a lot of big construction companies paid donations, not illegal because illegal donations to this party, so that they could get concessions, public concessions So you can more or less guess why our elites didn't stop this in time. You know,
It was good
because
business.
it was good business for them, for his friends, for his families, but not for the social majority, not for the country.
But isn't in this parliament people sitting from the social minority, from the people?
Excuse me.
Are there only elites in the parliament, or are there
No.
members of a representative of real people? Didn't they have to decide eventually that they make?
Yeah,
they make
but
the laws?
in Spain, there's a thing. Well, in every parliament system, there's a thing called like absolute majority. When you know, a party has more than
51%.
51% of the congressmen,
Yeah.
and so you actually can do whatever you want when you have that, you know. And that's like a really a common way in governing this country since 1978. That's been a really common thing here.
So in Greece, I learned that they are dismantling the healthcare system. They're dismantling, or they're really cutting on the education reform. Is that what they do here as well? Is it,
Yeah.
This austerity thing?
Yeah, I mean, those also are the consequences of austerity policies. In Spain, we have seen in the later years, in the last years, like tuition fees of university and of college go up like to the sky. We have seen cuts in education, primary education and secondary. I mean, yeah, that's and also attempts in this region in Madrid, in la Comunidad de Madrid. We have seen also an attempt to privatize and to grant the health system to companies that have really good relations with the political parties here. So it's been like a real mess here, you know.
So, and you said at the beginning you're part of a new party, a new movement.
Yeah, it's called Podemos, and you know.
Are you trying to do something different? Are you trying to do something about this?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is that we are not professional politics. We're not professional politics. We're like citizens that come from different places and different, you know, and we're citizens that want to do politics for the people. You know, we don't want, we want to transform, to convert all this common sense that say these elites have tricked us. We have to convert, to transform that common sense to political power and say things can do it different. We can do things different if we involve.
But like before you found another party, why there were like, for me, a naive two ways. Why did you go to the streets, or why did you just ask the justice system to take care of? I mean, take care of those people who were responsible. I mean, if they tricked the Spanish people, why didn't they go to jail for that?
Well, that's a really good question, actually, and we can say that the judicial system it's so imbricated, it's so like related to political powers.
Dependent.
It's dependent,
not
you know.
independent.
That's like a real issue here, like the independence of the judicial system. It's not, because every Tribunal Supremo, el Tribunal Constitucional, all depends of who are chosen in here, you know. And but actually we have these demands have been expressed in the streets. I mean, the 15M movement, that so-called Indignados movement, is like
What is that?
well, it's a political event that went in this country 15 of May of 2011, where
3 years ago.
yeah, where millions of people came out to the streets in many cities, convoked, like, how do you say convoked? Convocados?
Demonstrated.
Yeah, well, it demonstrated.
Shouted and
No,
demanded.
Yeah, it demanded. Millions of people came out to the streets and weren't like called for.
From any party, but
That's it. It's just a social civil society platform that convoked these demonstrations, and it. I mean, we learned there that there's this increasingly social majority that doesn't want these elites here, and that are like their perception is that these elites tricked us,
Right.
and. This is like an inorganic, and no parties led this movement, so So these things, these demands have expressed in the streets.
So how did the parties react? How did the people in power react? Did they move? Were they afraid? Did they change something?
Well, no, they actually, maybe you could see that their discourse, the political discourse of some parties may have changed, but no, actually they ought for they thought that it was better to like ignore this thing because it wasn't go anywhere. It wasn't going to go anywhere.
Maybe only a few people demonstrated. How many people?
No, we're talking about millions of people.
Millions?
We're talking about millions of people in the streets, not only in Madrid, but in most of the cities in this country.
And they ignored it.
And they ignored it because they thought that they weren't organized. And well, actually, it was true. I mean, it wasn't like an organized protest. It was actually like an inorganic expression of discontent and
Spontaneous?
disaffection. Well, it's spontaneous. Yeah, I mean it was a surprise. The people that convoked this demonstration didn't know how many people they were going to get. Actually, the platform that convoked this demonstrations has like a second position right now in like what's the 15M movement right now. So yes, it's like this disorganized protest that political parties thought that they could ignore.
But why didn't this movement, 50M movement, keep going, or why didn't they grow? I mean,
Because
if things got worse, why did they get more and more people to join them?
well, I think the how do you say the las encuestas polls, statistical polls shown that I mean that more or less 70% of population like identified with this movement, like identified the demands that they put in agenda.
They liked the event.
Yeah,
70%.
70%, and I'm talking about official institution, CIS, el Centro de Investigaciones Sociológicas, showed that 70% of the population identified with these problems that this movement was putting in agenda. But the thing is that it not being organized make that the two elections after the 15F movement, I mean the 22 May regional election and the 20 of November of the next year election, general election, the right-wing party, Partido Popular, won in a landslide, and but that's because there was no organization, there was no like alternative to them, and so I mean the no voters went up, but I mean that doesn't matter because we only count the ones who voted, and we won, and we have absolute majority here, and that's it. I mean, but things 3 years. This happened in 2011, so since then many things have moved and many things have happened, and we are in a position in these elections, in the European election, where many, well, not many, but a few political parties have attempted to maybe not represent this discontent, but to say that to present at least an attempt of alternative to this system, and I think Podemos is the one that most satisfactory. I mean, the one that is doing this the most right way, I think, in my opinion. Of course.
So basically, the 50M movement was disorganized, not an organization, and you guys have an organization now, and you guys want to get into parliaments and change things from inside.
Well, I think we think that it's changing the things from inside is not the only thing that we have to do. We have to also be in the streets, and we also have to be in the social movements. But we think that it's necessary. I mean, it's fundamental, critical that some political actor enters the institutions and starts saying the things that we are saying in the streets. Say that in the parliament and in this political institution, and that's what we're trying to do. I mean, we're not trying to represent or to, I mean,
Or be in government.
No. If we have to govern, we will govern.
Okay.
But I mean, we are not trying to like co-opt the movement because because the movement is something that you can't co-opt. You have to. I mean, there's like a say that a Catalan political party like popularized. We don't represent the social movements. The social movements represents us, but somebody has to do that inside here. You know.
So tell us at the end, what do you guys want to change? Well, what are the 2 or 3 most important things you want to see change?
Well, first we don't want to see how Spain is being converted to a tourist colony. So
What?
a tourist colony.
Tourist.
Yeah, we actually are.
Place for tourists.
Yeah, a place for where rich Northern Europeans can come here and like waste their money, and we want a economic system that can grant health, that can grant education, and that can grant like how do you say bienestar?
Industry and all that.
Well, maybe yeah, industry like decent jobs, like decent lives. We want that. We want that for the people. And maybe the first thing to do is to say that some of the debt of the Spanish debt is illegitimate. It's illegitimate.
Okay.
I mean, and maybe some parts of the debt we don't have to pay them. I mean, that's like the debt right now is working like a sort of a slave. It's enslaving. Esclavizando. It's like
Enslaving.
it's enslaving this country, and maybe we have to like take an eye on that. You know.
So you want to cut the debt,
Well,
like in Greece, like there are people who say.
well, yeah,
we need to cut
Syriza.
it.
You mean Syriza is a political party
Yeah.
that's saying that some of the Greece debt is illegitimate.
Legitimate.
Yeah, that's
Hard word.
a hard word. Yeah.
You get it.
And we don't have to pay that. I mean, that's a debt that our political elites thought that they have to like take, but we don't want to pay all the debt. I mean, that's if we have to pay all the debt, we're like walking then to a situation in which this country is going to be a slave, is going to be a colony of the Northern Europe, and we don't want that. We don't want.
What else do you demand?
Well, we demand that that we have to grant to the population education and health.
Free?
Well,
Free?
free? No, not free. Everybody. We had the best.
I mean, organized by the state, like not
Yeah, that's it.
not privatized.
Yeah, but that's not free. I mean, that's citizen paid.
Yeah.
You know, citizens pay
through taxes.
taxes so that they can have health and education systems. You know, it's not free. I mean, we don't see that as free. We see that as buying altogether some good health and some good education for everybody, and not only for the ones who could pay. I mean, you know, that's the way, that's the destination in which our elites, it looks like they're carrying us. The situation in which only some people could pay health and education. I mean, more like United States health system, you know, where you have like some shitty health system for the poor, and like for the ones who could pay a real health insurance, those are going to get good health. No, we don't want that. We have lived. We know what's a good health system because we have one a long time. But maybe we want that, and we know that it's possible. It's
So cut the debt, back to the social welfare state, and another man.
another demand.
Yeah.
Well,
Any other problems?
Well, yeah, the main problem, these elites that have working continuously for a minority, this elite has to go. I mean, that's the main issue here. There's an elite that has been working for a minority all these years, and these people have to go do their own lives. We're not. Maybe somebody has to go to jail. I mean, there's like really criminal stuff that has been going on here, and maybe somebody is going to be in jail. But we just want to. We don't want these elites. We want that politics for the people and made from the people. And we want more democracy, more institutions that grant us the possibility of deciding for some major issues that we haven't had that.
Right. Like you said, democracy. I learned in Greece. Greece is not really democracy. Obviously, it's more like an oligarchy. What about Spain?
Well,
is it a democracy?
I mean, you can like theoretically say that.
I mean, if you say a minority rules for the minority, that doesn't sound like democracy.
No, it doesn't sound like democracy. Not in like the traditional, like the Athens way of understanding democracy. You can theoretically say this is a democracy because you have periodical elections and like some people that go and then come. Like this.
But just having elections is not democracy.
That's the thing we're saying here. I mean, democracy, voting each 4 years. It's not democracy if people don't have education, if people don't have health, if people don't have welfare. I mean, if people doesn't have that, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's important, but it doesn't really matter who are going to rule us the next 4 years. That's not democracy.
So you want to start by going to Brussels and change the European Parliament?
Well, that's it. We want to go to Brussels because to say loud and clear that Spanish people are not going to resign and going to accept these policies that have been imposed, that have been imposed by supranational institutions that we even don't know where the legitimacy of this institution comes from. Right. We want to decide which way we want to go, and we want to go. We want to be in Europe. I mean, Europe is like a supranational space where we want to be, but we don't want to be there at any cost.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.